This is the 7x7 Rubik's Cube, and I'm going to be showing you exactly how to solve it. For the first step, you're going to want to find the white center. Sometimes it'll have a logo on it, in my case it does, but yours might not. Then your goal is to create a white bar that spans over 5 pieces, including that white center. To start off this white bar, we're going to need to find the white piece that is right next to the white center. I've already found it right here, and it's right next to the red center, which means I need to move this whole layer down till it's next to the white center. Now, it doesn't matter if you just move one layer or if you move all 3. As long as you get that piece into position, you're good. Then I see I have another one over here, so I'm going to move that one down as well. Now that we've got those 2 pieces into position, we need to find these 2. So I see one of them is right here. You can tell because it's in between 2 on this side and 2 on this side. So we can move that down, and it should match up with those. And then the other one is right here. Now this one is actually not movable straight down, so what we're going to have to do is turn this layer so that it's over in this position, and then as you can see, we can then move it down. This part is kind of intuitive, and you're going to have to kind of figure it out on your own, but once you get it down, it should be pretty simple. So now that we have the first bar, we're going to want to make a second bar. Now I can see that this bar already has 3 of the white pieces, so I think I'll start with this, but if you have a different bar that is right next to the white bar that has 3 pieces, then go for that one as well. First of all, we can't really be moving any white pieces down into this bar without it messing up the first bar. So the first step we're going to do is move that bar out of this side. So just take it and shove it away. Now that we've moved that bar out, we're only going to rotate sides and layers like that. Otherwise, we would mess up this first bar. Since this is an outer bar, we're going to need outer edge pieces. Now to get this piece all the way over to here, we're going to need to rotate this side twice so that it is in this bottom layer, which then we can move over. Now I'm going to rotate the side another time to the right. We do have an outer piece, but it's not in the middle, so we're going to rotate it again, and there it is right there in the middle. Keep in mind you could have a lot of white pieces on the top, so say you didn't have the one you were looking for here and you had it on the top. All you'd want to do is bring, say I'm looking for this piece that's like the middle of the bar. I'm going to bring that piece down, which keep in mind breaks up the first bar we made. So then I'm going to want to rotate it out of the way and then bring that layer back up. The only thing I will say is don't do it on the side that has this bar or you might mess it up. Anyways, we can use either of these pieces. I guess I'll use this one. How we're going to get it from here all the way over to here is just obviously rotate the middle layer once and then twice, and that matches it up with this bar, which we can then connect down into the white side. One thing I did notice when we were doing all that is I had this little block of 3 pieces. So all I need to complete this bar is the 2 corners. So I can rotate the cube. Look, it's already one of the corners. So I can rotate that layer, matching it up. Also, one thing you need to keep in mind is you gotta build your bars vertically, otherwise this just won't work. And then here's a second corner. Now this one is a little bit trickier since it's on the same side that we have the bar on. All we're gonna need to do is just rotate it so that the bar is laying down flat. Then we can move that piece out of the way. Then we can connect the bar back up into its position. And then we're gonna move that piece over to here, because then we can connect it into that position. Anyways, now that we have a second bar, we're going to complete that down into the bottom, and now we're going to just need to do the last 2 bars. So I found another white piece, and I'm going to put that so that it is in a position where I can build the bar vertically. Now I'm going to rotate it, and I see another piece, so what I can do is just pair those up by turning the bottom layer. Then I find this piece, so I see that it can work in one of these 2 bars. Now how I get this piece from here to here is I just rotate the side. I'm not sure if that's obvious to you guys or not, but if you didn't know, then that's how you do it. Then we just move that over into the white bar that we're building. I see another piece right here. I don't think that's actually going to work for us though, so I'll look around. Okay, here's another piece, and so we're going to rotate this layer once and then twice. That gets it in position. Now this is the final piece that would go in the top spot. So all I'm going to do is turn it so that the bar is laying down flat. because once it's laying flat, you can break it up without having to worry about the actual bar getting broken. Then just turn vertical again and put this piece in a position on the other side where you can just move it in one go. Then we're going to bring this bar down to the white side, and we're done with 4 bars. Okay, so for the final bar, we find a white piece. Here's another white piece. It's not in the correct position, so I'll rotate it. Nope, that's not the correct position either, so I'll rotate it again. Perfect, now it's in a good position. I'll rotate those 2 layers to bring that piece from there to here. Now we're building the bar. And then here's another piece. So this piece is here, this piece is here. We can't just bring it over, otherwise it'll replace that piece. So what we're going to want to do is use this piece up here instead. And all we're going to do is rotate it so that it moves it from here up to here. Then we're just going to move that piece in and then fix that piece again. And the last 2 pieces are in the top layer. Now, whenever you have white pieces that you need in the top layer, what you're going to want to do is rotate it in a way so that you can bring it down onto a side that has no bar that you're building or no bar that's already been built. Then what you're going to want to do is bring that 1 layer down that has those pieces that you need, then move those pieces out of that layer that you brought down. That way you can re-bring that layer back up, fixing everything that you had done before. Okay, so now that I have these 2 pieces out of the top, I'm just going to rotate them in a way that I can push them over into the bar. So that's 1, and the final one's right there. So I can move that one over as well. And then I can't bring the bar down right here, so what I'm going to have to do is rotate the white side. Now I can bring it down. Now by this point you should have 5 bars done, which will make up the white center. The white center done, our second goal is to complete the yellow center. So to start off the yellow center, we're going to find the very center dot piece, which is right there. And then as we did in the first time, we're going to need to get 2 pieces beside it. So we already have 1 there. The other one is right here. Now we can't just rotate it in a way that we bring that piece up, because that just breaks up all of the white center. Instead of just moving that piece up and not doing anything else, we're going to first move it up. Then we're going to rotate the top so that this piece is out of this layer. Then we can reconnect the white center by moving that layer back down. The last piece we need to get in is right here. So we're going to need to look around on the cube. I've already found it right here. And we're going to need to just rotate the top. Then we can do the same thing as before. So rotate that layer up. Then move the top so that that piece is out of this layer. Then just bring that layer back down. Now that I have the first yellow bar completed, I'm going to want to work on one of the other bars. In this case, I'm going to choose this one because it already has 2 of the 5 pieces in. So I'm going to bring the bar down and then move it out of that layer. That way it can reconnect the white center. Now the reason why we need to bring it down here is because if we tried to build it up here, it would just mess up all of our current progress. Anyways, I'm going to try to find this piece, or the piece that would go right there. So I'll turn it, nope, turn it. Okay, here it is right there. So now we just turn that layer, which moves it into position. Then the bottom piece is right there. So I can turn those 2 layers and connecting those. And then I can use this one. This could be the final one that goes right there. So I need to turn this side up so that it is in this layer, and then move it over, and that is our second yellow bar completed. Now all we have to do is turn it so that both the bars are going in the same direction, or they're both vertical. And then I just move this one up, turn the top twice, which moves this bar out of that layer, and then bring these 2 layers down, reconnecting the white center. Now for my third bar, I'm going to build one of the ones on the side because I already have 2 of those pieces right here. I'm going to just find the piece that goes right there. So that is right there. And then I'm going to turn this layer like that, where I can move that piece into position. And then I want to find this piece, which is right there, I think. So then I'll move it over, and as you can see, I do have the corner as well, but I'll put that in a minute. So I can move this layer, connecting that up with the bar, and then I find the corner, put that in as well. Now all we have to do is move it up, turn the top layer twice, and then bring that layer back down. reconnecting the white center. Now for our fourth bar, I'm going to do the other side bar since I have 2 more pieces. So I'll rotate that side, that way it's in a vertical position. And I see a corner right here, which I should put right there. So I can move it over like that. Now I need to get this piece. So here it is. I can just rotate that side 2 times, bringing it over to there. And then move it into position. The corner right here, I can turn it so that it's over here. That way when I connect it, it is in position. That is our another bar. Now once you have 2 of the outside bars done, or it could even be 2 of the inside bars, is instead of moving it so that it can go up into an empty spot and bringing it back down, which will do nothing for you if you didn't realize, because that just brings the other bar down. You're gonna instead wanna turn it so that you're replacing the original bar that you already had there with the new one, then you turn it twice, then you reconnect it, and that just puts them both in the top layer. Now for our final bar, I see 2 of the pieces right here. You might just find 1, but I see 2 of them, so I can turn it so that we're building the bar vertically. Here's one of the pieces. I believe this piece goes right there, so I can move it out of our side that we're building our bar on. Then I can move it over into that position, and then I can bring it back over to that side, incorporating it in the bar. Here's another piece, so I can rotate it until it is in the proper position. Then I can move it over, and then we're on our final piece, which is right there. So all I have to do is bring it over once, bring it over twice, and that is our final bar. Now, like I said for the sidebars, what you're going to want to do is replace it with a pre-existing bar. Then you're going to want to rotate the side twice, then just move that layer back down. And then you should have the white and yellow center. Make sure the white one's not messed up, otherwise you might have to restart. If you did, however, mess up, you can use the yellow center as your white center and just do the white center second instead of doing it first. In the end, it doesn't really matter. Now that I have completed the white and yellow center, I need to complete the other 4 to complete all of the centers. So what you're going to want to do is hold it so that the white and yellow center are facing outwards on the cube. Then you're going to want to find one center, so for example, I'll find blue. Now instead of making bars vertically, we're going to make them horizontally for the other 4 centers. The reason why I chose this blue bar is because it already has 3 of the pieces in, and so that's just going to make the process a little smoother. So for our first piece that we need to find, it'll be that one right there. And I see it's on the back of the cube over here. So what I can do is move it into that position, and I can just move that piece down. And luckily there was another piece right beside it, so that matched up perfectly, creating the first blue bar. Once you finish creating your first bar, you're going to want to move it vertically, and that will allow you to create other bars without this one being affected. So what I'm going to do is use these 2 pieces and create a layer like this, so I can move those pieces out of the way and turn them on their side so I can create the bar laying down. And then I'll find this piece, which is right there, I think. And then one thing you will do is hold it in that position because it needs to be in the bottom, so it's in the bottom here, and then just move it up. As you can see, this bar is unaffected. It got moved from here to here, but that doesn't really matter. The next piece is this one right there, and that is right there. So all we can do is move it down into position. Perfect. Then we just need to find this piece, which is right there. So we're going to move it over and then connect it with the pre-existing bar. And now we have a second bar which we can move vertically and then move it right next to the other bar. Here's 2 more pieces that we can move down and then laying down so we can create the bar horizontally. Our first piece is right there. I can use the corner, so I rotate it into position and move it up. Our second piece we'll use is that one right there. This is going to be a little bit trickier to get this piece from here to there, but we can still do it. So I can move this bar vertically, then we can move this piece down. Also, we did mess up these 2 bars, so I'm going to have to move it out of that layer, connect to those 2 bars again, and then bring that piece back into position, move this bar laying down again, and then move that piece up. This is the final piece, so I can rotate it so it's in the correct position, moving it up. And I do realize that, oh, nope, never mind. I thought it broke up that bar, but nope, it doesn't. And so now we have another bar, move it vertically, rotate it next to the other bars. Now we can just repeat that process. So I see two pieces right here. Our next one needs to be right there. So it's right here. So I can move it down into position and then connect it up with those two pieces. And actually there was another piece next to it, which is a lucky case. Has happened to me a couple times in this solve, but I guess that's a good thing. Now I'm gonna actually use this corner over here. So what you gotta do is you gotta move it so that your bar that you're making is vertical. That way you can move the one piece out of that side. Then you gotta move your bar back so that it's laying down again. Then you just bring your piece into position and connect it back up with that bar. Also, by the way, that final move where I connected it back up, moved this piece up. So now we're gonna wanna move it over so that it's vertical, reconnect it, and bring that up into the blue side. Here's another piece in the final bar, so all we're gonna do is move it out of that side. Now that it's out of that side, and make it so that we can make the bar laying down. Here's the second piece. We're gonna move that down, which is gonna break up the blue side, so then we're just gonna have to move it vertical. That way we can reconnect the side. Then we move it back laying down. Then we find another piece, which is right here. Turn it like that. And then we're gonna have to move that layer until the piece goes into position, which, as you can see, messed up another bar. So we're gonna have to do the same thing. Turn it vertical, reconnect the bar, and then bring it back so it's laying down. As you can see, we're probably gonna have to do that quite a bit. Next piece right here, move that up, messed up another bar, so we move it vertical, bring that bar back, and then turn it back so it's laying down. Final piece is right here, so we move it up, messed up another bar. That way we can move it vertical and bring that bar back, and then you can just bring your final bar into the blue side. So one thing I see is that there are 4 pieces in the first bar of orange, so that is perfect. That's what I'm going to use. And here's the final piece. So what we're going to have to do every time is bring the piece down into the layer, then move the layer vertically, move whatever layer we brought down back up, which is just going to fix the side that we messed up. And then usually we're going to have to move this side back, but since we already have it built, we're just going to keep it vertical. One thing you have to know is once you have a bar on a side, you can't build a second one on the side that already has a bar. So I'm going to have to make my bars up here. I can see that I already have 4 pieces of this bar, which is perfect. Here's the corner piece. So what I can do is rotate this side. That way I can move this corner up, then move it vertical, bring that piece down, which was just gonna fix that blue layer, and then I can bring the bar down, and then all you have to do is rotate it twice so it's out of that layer, out of this layer that we messed up the blue side with, and then bring the blue bar back. Now we're gonna do the second bar. In this case, we're gonna do this one. So there are 2 pieces right here. I'm just gonna bring those 2 up into the layer that we're building the bars in. Then I move them out of that layer. That way I can bring that layer down, refixing the blue side. So now that I have these 2 pieces, I'm gonna lay them down like we always do. Now that I have these 2 pieces, I actually realized I only needed one of them to build this bar. Anyways, we're gonna rotate it so that it is laying down. And this piece is one of the ones that needs to go right there. So we bring that piece down into the layer, rotate it vertical, bring that layer back up, and then we just gotta lay this bar back down. Now the final piece is right there, so we can move it into position, bring it down, move the bar vertical, and then just bring that layer back up. Then we move it so that it is in the proper slot to go into. Bring it down into that slot, move that layer twice, which means we can reconnect and fix whatever we messed up. Now, I would like to build bars on this side, but I just cannot pass up this opportunity. I have 4 pieces again that are in the proper position, and I don't know if I just got a lucky scramble or if this happens a lot, but I'm gonna take it. So I'll be building the bar on this side. As you can see, this bar is laying down. This piece is right there, but we can't just move it right there, so we're gonna have to move it down into this side, move it out of that layer, fix the layer that we messed up. Now we can move it over to there, 1, 2. Then we bring it up into the bar that we're creating, move that bar out of the way, bring that layer in the opposite direction to fix whatever we had messed up. And then we bring this bar down, but we can't just bring it down there because that's going to mess up the blue side. So like the yellow side, we're going to have to bring it down on a pre-existing bar. So as you can see, all I did there is I brought that layer down like that. Then we rotate this side 2 times, and then we just undo what we did. Now for the final bar, we'll build it right here. So we'll create it laying down. There's one of the pieces. Here's 2 more that we can bring so that they're also laying down. Connect to those, move it over so it's vertical, fix what we messed up, and then just make it laying down again. Here's the corner so we can bring it and then move it down, move it vertical, fix what we messed up. The final piece is right there, so instead of bringing it into this layer and then moving it out, we're going to bring it into the one above it and then move it out and then fix what we had messed up. Lay down the bar again, bring that piece into position, and then vertical, fix what we messed up, and then bring this bar down in a pre-existing one, turn that side 2 times, bring that bar back, and that is 4 centers down. So for the first green bar, we already have 4 pieces again, and so for the 5th piece, it is right here. So we can do it like normal, bring it down, then we bring this bar horizontal so that we can fix that stuff that we had messed up. So I'm gonna find, say, these 2 pieces. See, there are 2 pieces that can go right there. So I'm gonna rotate this side 2 times so that we can just bring these 2 pieces up, then move it vertical, fix what we already did, and then bring that bar down, rotate 2 times, bring those layers up. Now for this piece, it is right here, but say it wasn't here, say it was in this layer, say there was no pieces in this layer. What you would have to do is you'd have to get, this piece, because this piece could also work there, and then basically just pretend this is part of a full bar that is already created. So you'd have to move it, and then move that layer down, turn it 2 times, bring that back. So just pretend like it's already in a full bar. That way it is in a position where we can move it up. Then we move it vertical, fix what we messed up, bring this bar down, turn 2 times, fix what we messed up. Now the last 2 bars are definitely going to be the hardest, and I have 3 of the 5 pieces in one of those bars. So I'm going to pretend like this is a full bar. I'll rotate it over, replace the pre-made bar, rotate twice, then bring that bar back up. And then for one of the side bars, what I can do is actually I can put that corner there by moving it up. So I'll just bring a layer that's not solved, then I'll bring that layer over. That way when I bring this piece back, it connects up with those ones. And then all I do is replace it with the pre-made bar, rotate twice, and bring it back up. So now we're left with 3 unsolved pieces. Here's one of them, and it needs to go right there. So I'm going to bring this red piece that is in the wrong spot up, replacing that green piece. Then I'm going to move it over. Then I'm going to bring the layer that I just moved it into up. Then I'm going to move that over in the opposite direction. Then I'm going to bring the first layer down. Then I'm going to move it back that way. and then I'm going to move that layer down. All that does is it brings this piece into there. So basically just swaps those two. There is a word for this. I'll have it up on screen. I'm not really sure what it's called. I kind of forget right now. But anyways, you can just do the same concept with this one. So I'm going to bring it up into this spot. Then I'm going to move it over, and I moved it into this layer. So I'm going to move this layer up. Then I just move it back over in the other direction, bring the first layer down, move it back into this direction, bring that layer down. Then for the final piece, I'm going to want to move it in a way that I can replace. So I'll bring it up, then I'll bring it over, then I'll bring the layer I just moved it into up, and then I'll bring it back the other way, then move the first layer down, move over this way, and then bring the second layer down. And that, my friends, should complete all 6 of the centers, and now we are ready to move to the edge building. So one thing I like to do when building my edges is I like to hold the white and yellow centers on the top and bottom. Anyways, the first thing you're going to want to do when building an edge is find a edge piece, so a piece with 2 colors that has white on it. So this one right here has white and it has green. So white and green are the 2 colors on this piece. So I'm going to look around at all the other edges. Are there any other ones with white and green? No, this is the only one, which means the other 4 pieces that have white and green have to be in either the top or the bottom layer. Now I see one is in fact in the top. So how you get this piece into these 5 layers, I guess, is all you're going to want to do is go up and then move that piece into the layer you just brought up and then bring it back down. Then you can move this piece into the edge block that you're building. Now my second white-green piece is nowhere to be found in the top, so you can just flip your cube over, and I found 2. That is perfect. All you're going to want to do is that same algorithm, so move the layer up, then move those 2 pieces into the layer you just moved up, and bring it back down. The reason why I didn't do it on the other side is because these 2 pieces are there, and they would get moved into the top. So now that I have these 2 pieces here, I can move both of them into the block we're building. Now this is the final edge piece that we need to go right there. So I can bring this layer up, bring it in, and bring it down. But then we can't just move it over because it's backwards and it's not in the right spot. So we'll reverse that. And then what we're going to want to do is keep it in the side, turn the cube, and just do that same thing but on the opposite side. So bring it up, move it over, bring it down. Now it is in the correct position. Over time you will understand which side to do it on, but when you're starting off you might put it in the wrong spot a couple of times. Then just move it over into the block that you're building. That is one block done. All you're going to do when you have a block finished is move it up, move it over, and move it down. Then you're just going to want to reconnect the centers that you guys had messed up, and then repeat that process with the other edges. So I see I'm going to do white, orange. I'll see white, orange. Now here's another white, orange piece. But when I try to move it over, they're like flipped. This one's flipped the wrong way. Whenever it's flipped, you're just going to take it out. So up, over, down. Then you're going to rotate it to the side, move the whole cube over, and then just bring it down, but with the right side instead of the left. So not with the left. You're going to want to do it with the right, so up, over, down. Then you should be able to connect those. The next orange piece is right there. So I'll bring it up, move it into that layer, bring that layer down, and I can connect that with the bar that we're making. Here's the next piece. We'll move that over 2 times. And the final one is in this layer. So I can see that because the white is facing out on the front, that if I do it on the right side, it is actually going to bring it down up here instead of down there. Then you just connect it with the pre-existing bar and move that bar up, bring unsolved bar in, bring it back down, and then you're just going to fix all of the centers by rotating the layers just like I am right now. All right, now I'm gonna do the red, white bar. So here's one red, white piece. Here's another red, white piece. So I can bring the left layer up, bring that piece into that layer, move it back down, connect those two. The next piece is right there, so I'll just move the top layer twice. Here's another piece, so I'll move the right layer up, bring it in, move that layer back down, and I can connect it to the bar. And the final piece is right there. Sorry, my look ahead isn't that good on the 7x7. But anyways, I'll move up the left layer, move it into that layer, bring it down, and connect it. One thing you will notice is I'm not bringing it into the wrong spot. I'm bringing it into the right spot each time, and that just comes with practice. You'll figure out that if you practice enough 7x7. Anyways, I'm going to move the solved bar up, bring an unsolved bar in place, and then move that bar or layer actually back down. Then you're just going to want to fix what you messed up, so all your progress. And then I'm going to do the white blue bar. So there's one white blue piece. Here's another one that I can move over. Another one, move over. Another one I can move over. That's kind of lucky. But then this piece, if I move over, it would be, whoops, if I move it over, it's going to be flipped the wrong way. So I'm not going to actually move it in just yet. Instead, I'm going to bring this piece up into the top. So here's an unsolved bar that I can move it into. You just don't want to bring one of your already solved bars down. Make sure that's not happening. And then you can move it over. That way you can bring it in on the left side. Then you can connect it up with the other bar. And then one thing you're going to want to do is in the top, I see I have 3 solved bars and 1 unsolved bar. You don't want to move it up into the unsolved bar. Otherwise, that's going to fill them up and you won't have an unsolved bar to move into that slot. So what you're going to actually want to do is just replace one of the solved bars, just like such, and then move the unsolved bar in, bring it back down, and you're good to go. Then I see this layer I can connect up, this layer I connect up, that. Just fix all your centers all over again. Now that you have 4 white bars, you're going to want to work on the yellow bars. And also keep in mind I have 4 of them in the bottom, so I'm just going to hold them on the bottom, that way I can be looking at the top. So our first one is going to be yellow-green since we already have one of those pieces. Our second one right here, and our third one right there. So I'll move our third one first, I guess, and then our second one. Fourth one, it's right there. So I'm going to move it over, bring it up into that layer. Then just to move it over into the bar we're building. The final piece is right there. So I'll move it into the layer and bring it into the bar we're building. Then, since I have a complete bar, I'll bring it to the top, move it over, and then bring it back down. Then I just fix all the centers like before. Also, fixing the centers is a very important step. Just keep that in mind. Next, I'll do orange, yellow. So we have 1. Here are 2 more. I'm going to take that opportunity. So I'm going to move it up, over, down. And then just connect these all so that they're in a bar. Here's another yellow-orange. So I'm going to move it in. All I did is I moved it over, and then I just brought the layer up, moved it in, brought it down. And then I connect it into the bar. And then here is the last final piece. I'm going to move it to the front. That way I can move this layer up, bring it in, bring that layer down, and then connect it into the pre-existing bar. Now all I'm going to do is bring that bar that I have made up, then move the top over so that I have an unsolved bar in that spot, and then move that layer right back down. Then we just connect all the centers back up to how they previously were, and then we can get to work on the blue-yellow bar. So I already see 1 piece. I can slide that over. Here's a second piece, but since it's in the same layer, we slide it out of that layer. Then we bring it up, move it out of that layer, and then bring it back down. And we just do that and make sure to replace that bar with an unsolved one. You don't want a solved bar. And then you can match it up just like that. Here's another one, but that would just replace the one that we had just put in, so that's not going to help us. So bring it up to the top, then put it in on the other side. And perfect. Now we can connect it up with the rest of the bar we've made. And there's the last one, so we can put it in. And also, when you see me like turning the top a couple times before I do it, it's because I know that by doing that I can put it in using the left version of that algorithm sort of thing, and that's just gonna put it in the right way. So anyways, we have this full bar. One thing I realized is we have 3 pieces on this bar, so I'm going to put the bar up, then connect everything else, and then bring those 3 pieces down into a layer, and then I can connect them up with that one. Here's the last one. That would just replace this one, so we're gonna move it up to the top, make sure to replace it with an unsolved bar, then turn it and insert it on the left side. Then we can match it up to the rest of the bar. And here's 2 red pieces, red, yellow, so I'm gonna use those. So I'll insert those. And then here's this piece, so I can match it up with those. Here's another one, we can match it up just like that. And the last one's right there, which would replace this one. So bring it to the top, then turn it over, and then move it in on the right side. Then we can just match it up with the rest of the bar. And one thing I didn't realize is we're all out of space on the top and the bottom. So what I'm gonna have to do is actually break up this bar that we just made, but all the pieces are technically still in the correct spot. They're just not in this bar position, but they're in the right layer. So now what we want to do is we want to find a bar that's unsolved. Then we're gonna move it into the top just like that. So now we have a solved bar in this layer. Then we're gonna match up the red pieces, the red yellow, like that. Then we're going to replace that bar with an unsolved bar. And then we're just gonna match everything back up. And then you wanna make sure this bar is still solved, which it is. So that's good. Now obviously this bar wasn't solved, but we couldn't finish it because this piece was in that position. So we're gonna put this bar back down, make sure to put an unsolved one up. Then we'll put that piece in, then bring the bar up, put the unsolved bar in place, and then fix the centers, which should fix this bar. I see 3 pieces right here, and the other 2 are right there, so they need to be here in order to match them up. So what I'm gonna have to do is put those pieces into the top layer. I just put a solved bar in, because that's what you're gonna have to do. And then I don't want these 2 pieces in the top, I don't want this unsolved bar in the top, so I'm gonna move this unsolved bar into the top. Now those pieces are there. Now we can connect them up with this bar. Then all we're gonna do is put the solved bar in the unsolved spot. Oops, just like such. Wait, it's right there. And then just match everything back up. And make sure that these 2 bars are still solved the whole time. Now just to make it easier, I'm gonna put this unsolved bar next to this one. And so for the last 2 bars, it's gonna be a little bit different. You're gonna wanna hold the majority of the pieces so that they're touching the bottom. So this is not touching the bottom. If I turn it like that, then this piece is touching the bottom, or in other words, the bar would be touching a corner piece that is in the bottom layer. I don't really know how else to say that. But then anyways, I see that there is a piece right there. So what we're gonna have to do is this algorithm. So we gotta go down on the left side, F prime, turn the left side up, then turn the front the other way, and then bring the left side up, move that side over, bring the left side down, and then that's your algorithm. So now this piece went from there to there. So then we got to get it into this position, obviously. So what we're going to do is turn the top layer so that that piece is now above this piece. So that way when we do that algorithm again, it will put it back into that position. And then when we fix the centers, it fixes this bar. Now keep in mind you could have like 2 split up from the 3, and in that case you're going to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is just move this 1 layer over to get this 1 piece. Then I'm going to do that algorithm just like such. And then once we have that algorithm done, I can move that layer back, fixing the piece. And keep in mind I could have moved 2 layers over and done both of the pieces, but I'm making it simple for this video. Then the last piece is right here, so we do that algorithm just like such. You can always slow down the video if necessary. Then move the layer over and then do the algorithm again. And then that will solve the bar. So for the last edge, you could have a few cases that can't just be solved how you were normally solving them. So this, for example, is one of them, and you're going to solve it like this. So you're going to go R wide U2, and then X, R wide U2, R wide U2, and then R wide prime U2, and then L wide U2, R wide prime. Actually, no, you're going to go 5 R wide prime U2, R wide U2, R wide prime U2, R wide prime, and that's going to solve that case for you. Now the second case is this one right here, where the middle edge is flipped and the other 2 sides are perfectly fine. So all you're going to do for this one is just 3R wide U2, X, 3R wide U2, 3R wide U2, 3R wide prime U2, 3L wide prime L, 3L wide, my bad, U2, and then 4R wide U2, 3R wide U2, 3R wide prime U2, 3R wide prime. Now this is kind of complex. You might not be able to learn this super easily, but trust me, just keep watching this part of the video over and over again. Memorize those algorithms and I got you. You're gonna have this down in no time. Now there's one final case, and that is this one right here, where all the edges just look like a sort of checkerboard pattern. And all you're gonna do for that one is just the first algorithm and the second algorithm in synchronym. So the first algorithm, which is R wide U2, and then X, R wide U2, R wide U2, and then R wide prime U2, L wide U2, 5R wide U2, R wide U2, R wide prime U2, R wide prime. And then you have this second case, so then you're going to do the 3R wide U2, X, 3R wide U2, 3R wide U2, 3R wide prime U2, 3L wide U2, 3R wide prime, my bad, U2, 3R wide U2, 3R wide prime U2, 3R wide prime. That is definitely a mouthful to say, but yeah, like I said, just keep practicing these algorithms over and over again. You'll get them down, and then you're ready for the final step. So for the final step, you just solve the cube like you would solve a 3x3. So what I can do is I can just make the cross. So there's that, here's that. Those 2 pieces connect. The blue, I can match up to the blue side. Move that down. Also make sure you're only turning with the outer layers on 3x3 stage, because if I start to turn with this, it starts breaking up centers, which you can't have happen in a 3x3 solve. So yeah, just make sure you're only turning with outer layers. Perfect, that's our cross. Then I'll move on to F2L. First pair done. Here's our second pair. Just like that. Third pair. And fourth pair. And that will complete F2L. Then OLL, which we can do like this, I believe. I might be completely wrong. Yep, I was completely wrong. Anyways, OLL. Oh, that one's wrong as well. OLL. Step number 3. Try number 3, actually. Perfect, that solved it. And then it looks like we have an A-perm, so just do that. And that should solve your 7x7 Rubik's Cube. Anyways, guys, if this video helped you, make sure to leave a like because it really helps my channel out. And if you guys are enjoying my content, then feel free to subscribe because it also benefits my channel. I also have a Discord server where if you need any help with the 7x7, I can try to help you there. And I have a Twitch, so make sure to go follow me on Twitch and join my Discord server. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video, so I'll make sure to see you in the next one. And AB Cubing out.